What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. We are back in the win column. If you just saw the previous video, I lost my 27-day winning streak, but it's all right. We limited the downside, so it's a small red day. Bounce back the next day with a one and done, simple winner in trend, following the same setups that caught me that streak. So hopefully maybe we can start another mini streak here. But regardless, I want to go over the setups of the day and what you could have done throughout the rest of the day after my trade was done. And there wasn't a whole lot to do, but I do think there was easily avoidable trades. So let's get on into it here. Look at my markup here. First things first, I'm now trading with Tradeify. So now on these markups, you can see the arrows of my execution of when I'm getting in, when I'm getting out, because I'm trading straight on TradingView. So if you do want to start trading with Tradeify, I'm doing this straight to sim funded accounts. So there's no challenge stage at all. I'm just already building an account balance to hopefully take payouts rather quickly. So if you want to do the same, you can actually use my name, code Dyer, to get 30% off all accounts, even if it's not these straight to sim funded. You can do the growth, the advanced, whatever you want. But you get 30% off all the accounts if you use my name, Dyer. So definitely take advantage of that deal for the next 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. But back to the trade here. We had a nice push down at the open through yesterday's New York. But I will say, coming into the open, I was looking for longs because the 15-minute has been bullish all week. And even the pre-market was setting up nicely for longs. But surprise, surprise, the cycle that we're in, we get some news that send us lower here. So now that's going to shift my bias. I'm going to have to read and react to what's happening now, right? That's why I don't think it's irrelevant to have a bias heading into the open, but it could very quickly shift, and you just got to take in new information and react to what's currently happening now, right? Hold those strong opinions loosely of we don't have to go higher today if it wants to just keep falling like this. I'm not going to be stubborn and say, no, the longs must come back in, right? If it wants to fall, I'll look for the next best short. So that's exactly what we did. So we finally get below this yesterday's New York view up here in blue. The first play maybe would have been here. It's tight. It's still during that news candle at like 10:14 is when this is like wrapping up here. So I don't need that play. But then the news has settled down. We get a pullback still underneath that yesterday's New York VWAP. We're clearly below today's New York VWAP. Now, the one thing you can see on these red lines here, that's the initial balance, which is been one of my favorite reports to use in the past few months, honestly, that we know we're going to break at least one side. We can even look at Edgeful here and see that. Then the initial balance breakout, 0% of the time in the past 26 days of, let's go to Fridays because this was on a Friday. Still, same thing. 0% of the time do we not break outside of this range. There's even another report that shows you the likelihood of what side is going to be taken out first based off of the movement of that first hour. So since the initial balance, let's go back to the charts here. Since the initial balance high was formed first up here and then the low, there's a greater likelihood that we take out the bottom, right? Makes sense. So that's also feeding me into my shorts here as we had a nice move down. So when we actually get the move down and we're not breaking out of the initial balance yet, it's still been untapped, unengaged. So I want to go get that first break. And then once we do break one side, we can go back to the stats here. We probably only do continue to break one side. 80% of the time it's single break. So that really just cuts out all the long opportunities in the afternoon once you break that bottom side. So 80% is very, very strong. I think our strongest of the week on a Friday. But regardless, we're holding up nicely. We are in drawdown on this trade, but this is what I say you have to have confidence and have a good stop loss to begin with. A few people might have been stopped out with the stop loss right there. That's not where your stop loss should be. You'd still want to be in this trade if it wants to retest this yesterday's New York view up, or even if it wants to retest New York. So I don't even love my stop loss where it is, but it definitely should not be lower than where I have it, because then you're really just asking to be tapped out. Because I'm not really too concerned with this drawdown. A lot of people are going to see he took the trade because of a break of lower day VWAP. Sellers are back in control, but then they quickly go right back up. So sellers aren't in control. Oh my God, this trade looks terrible. Sellers try to take it again. They can't take that control. Oh my God, this looks terrible. I'm still reading structure and trend on top of my trades when I'm in a short. So, okay, I'm still looking for there to be lower highs to support my idea. So as long as we're still making these lower highs, I still like my direction. I can't be too concerned in predicting, is this going to turn into the higher low and we come back higher? It might, but as long as we're still falling on top for a short, I still like it. And inversely for a long. If we're still building higher lows with my long, I like it. I'm not too worried about potential lower highs on top of me, right? So that's the first thing. Obviously, this did get a push from Trump, it seems like, on this bearish candle down. I got a pretty good exit, not way down there, but somewhere like mid-bar here. We were just wrapping up streaming, and also we're both in this trade. And seeing it drop literally a minute after we stopped the stream, we're like, oh my God, get out, get out, get out, before this comes right back up, because it's well over 1R. So a nice, beautiful win there. But I think a lot of people maybe got stopped out too early because they just have a tight stop, or maybe they're having lack of confidence and they pull it early. On the second time, it couldn't get below that lower day VWAP. but the trade still looks valid. We're still underneath the level that I traded it from. It doesn't look like we want to come higher. The stats that we probably want to break the initial balance low first since we formed it this way. So nothing's telling me I should be looking for longs or this doesn't look good, right? It's just not moving as quickly as I would like it to. But the market doesn't move on my time. It doesn't care. So that was that play. One and done for the day on a Friday. I'll go to the 15-minute here. And you can see why I was looking for longs into the open. We had the choppy Thursday. But then coming into the open before that big shove down, we were making new high a week. A new high a week on a Friday. Higher highs and higher lows throughout. I'm looking for longs. But since we sliced through everything on this ginormous candle down, I'm not going to just stay stubborn to that because now we're below the overnight view up here in black and well below the yesterday's New York view up here in blue as well. So give it some time, see if sellers can hold down here. They do. Okay, let me look for a nice short. So I was looking for longs, quickly flipped to the short bias once it's telling me to do that. And let's throw back on the initial balance here and you can see that becomes our best price. I'll turn off the open ranges so you can't see all the lines, get too distracted. Once my trade is done, what does it pull back to and pay on the day? We could even zoom out like this. Initial balance retest. Nice, beautiful move off of that. Later on in the session, nice initial balance retest. Move off of that. So it becomes my key level throughout the entire day, not only just playing it for the stats of we're going to break one side or we're only going to break one side, right? But it also is just a nice key level to trade off of. For this second trade, they're both good. But for this one, I like the amount of time it took to give this pullback. Right, I always talk about a real significant pullback. I mean, this took like an hour and a half, 23 points. Sellers definitely did take a break from moving us lower, but now we're holding this key level. They're ready to step back in from here. I want to get prices as close to these view ups as possible. So a bounce play would have looked really nice because then you can get a stop loss well below all these view ups, right? Like an initial bounce here. You're right off the New York view up. Let's even just throw it to a 2 minute so you can really see the whole day in this picture. You were definitely looking for shorts today, but nothing but lower highs and lower lows. This is the price that pays. Initial balance low. So you could have taken it back here right after my trade, or you see it make a new low a day, pull back to that same key level, trade it off there again. Trend continuation. And you get a nice move from that one for a small new low a day, but it's another 26 points, 30 points. So really, really clean trend on this Friday, even despite the big move down to start the session. You don't need to be chasing these small little tiny pullbacks down here, hoping you get another new low a day. Give me another new low a day, right? Let it pull back to a key level. Let it reset. There's plenty of times where you feel like maybe you missed this move, and you did maybe miss this move. You don't have to then chase it at the very bottom way down here, right? Let it get closer to these VWAPs, aka the New York VWAP here, or the initial balance. And now when you look at it, this is definitely the price you want to be short at. And this second time comes off the New York VWAP as well. So really, really clean ideas there. The one thing I will say about this short, for anyone that did take it, it's not bad, but let's throw on that lower day view up again. Just a thought that I have with these kind of trades. Again, not a bad trade. If you take the lower day view up after bouncing off this New York VWAP, you're probably in down here, right? You're going to have a 15-point stop. You probably do get 1R. You do get 1R. So you do get a nice winner, and it takes some time. My one fear, potentially, of this would be this 4 candles down is 15 points. It's almost like, I'd want to try to catch that move rather than see 4 candles down. Okay, now I'm going to jump in, right? It almost seems like I'm late to the party. When you see these small pullbacks, higher highs, higher lows, whatever, you feel like you could jump in. But when it's a strong move down like that, how many more bearish candles consecutively is it going to sustain? And it doesn't, but it does keep moving in your favor, right? I don't want to get trapped in, oh my God, look at that big move down. Then I sell it, then it comes right back up, right? I normally like those smaller ways to that lower day view up break, like it did in my earlier trade. But overall, clean trade. If you look at the whole week here on the 15-minute, like I was saying, a bullish week nonetheless, even despite Friday's big sell-off. That coming into the Friday, why wouldn't I be looking for longs when we're making these higher highs, higher lows to end the week above yesterday's high? All those good things, but then when on the 1 minute, we're slicing below all these VWAPs, I'm going to read and react. Another thing that even looks like it could have been in play, we took out of yesterday's low, and that's kind of where you were trading off of. Once you broke below yesterday's low, that initial balance retest is right off a key level of yesterday's low as well. So it looks even better now, right? So really, really clean day. Hope you guys made some money short. And like I said, I just took my payout, my last one with Top Step. So if you do want to be trading with Tradeify like I am, I'm doing this trade to Sim Funded. You can use code Dyer to get 30% off any of these accounts. I'm going I think I'm gonna get a 150K this week just so I could try out the 6,000 in drawdown because I feel like that's gonna really open me up to use heavier size. I mean, your daily loss limit is 3,700. That's crazy. So you can really sling it with some size on these accounts, but maybe the 2,000 or the 1,200 daily drawdown could limit you on the bigger size. So I'm gonna try the 150 because it's not that much more expensive, especially when you use my code. So definitely be trying that this week and throughout the rest of the month. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Nice to get back in the win column, right? Like I said, that Thursday I had that first red day. Is what it is. We're back in the winning column. Hopefully we'll take some payouts with Tradeify here in this month as I have 3 accounts with them. Looking to get more as the week goes on. But trade safe. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.